Welcome to Action Coaching. We're delighted that you've joined us on today because we know we have some exciting coaching tips just for you. Now, Action Coaching is designed to coach the best life out of you so that you can live at your full potential. Nobody makes it up without a coach. Everybody needs someone to help them to get to the next level. And so here at Action Coaching, we have decided to kind of give you tips each and every week. Obviously, we don't have enough time to get in depth about each and every subject, but I try to give you the high points and then leave it up to you to kind of fill in the blanks, so to speak. But we are certainly excited about you joining us. I want to encourage you that if there are things you want me to talk about on Action Coaching, reach out to us on social media and I would love to discuss those topics. I would love to give you tips on how you can navigate your way through your destiny. All of us got different destinies, but some principles are the same no matter what endeavor you have in life. Hard work, discipline, all of these things apply throughout life. So I am excited about being able to share some of those things with you on Action Coaching. Now, this week I want to talk about what do you do when the things that you want, everybody else want them too. Say I want a successful career, and you got a host of other people want a successful career, and they might want a success in the same career that you desire. How do you survive? What do you do when others want to be rich, want to be prosperous, want to have all of the bling bling, so to speak, the same way you want to have it? What are the habits that you need to put in place that will allow you to rise to the top and experience those things that you desire? So on this week on Action Coaching, I'm going to talk about you have to outwork them. I found out that there is no excuse, no success without understanding that it's going to be hard work. And not only is it going to be hard work, but you got to be prepared to outwork those that are working for the same goals you are. Yes, you don't have to be jealous of anyone, but nevertheless, just because you want it or you think you got the divine idea, there are people every single day that are working just as hard to create something, to do something that will put whatever you did at this particular moment to shame if you don't continue working and experiencing your craft. Think about it. No matter what business you're in, somebody is always trying to do it better. You can see in our society, every day you see different cars on the road. Well, that means that there are a whole lot of car companies competing for people to buy their car. Now, they can't have a substandard car and expect to keep up with the cars that have put in the work, have offered this consumer something different. So you got to understand that hard work is necessary and you got to be prepared to outwork them. Now, a lot of people, especially in this day and time, they want everything quick, fast, and in a hurry. They want it to be simple. They don't want no trouble. They want smooth sailing. Matter of fact, some people will wake up on a new day and say, all I want is smooth sailing. Well, I got news for you. If you're working and you're striving towards success, then there's no such thing as smooth sailing. There's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be something that's going to push you to go a level higher. Because you got to understand, success is not a given. Success requires hard work. And if you are not willing to work hard, then you need to find yourself another career. Even when you go to school, they have a degree that if you work that hard, you can get it at one level. They have a bachelor's degree. But then if you want to go on to a master's degree, that takes a whole nother level of work. And if you want to go to a PhD degree, then there's more work required, the higher levels that you want to go. There are so many people want to go to the highest level, but they don't want to put the work in. And it's sad, because you need to understand that it should not come easy. It should come the way that it comes, where you have to work for it, sacrifice for it, sweat for it. And then when it ultimately comes, you'll have a greater appreciation for it. As we admire all of the star athletes or actors or successful people in our society, trust me, they have all outworked everybody else. I think it should be more stories that are shown about the struggle behind the scene rather than showing people when they have achieved it. I think that you should see things, how hard they had to work behind the scenes. Years ago, a lady told me, said, "Look like you came up overnight." And I said to her, I don't ever want to see another night like that, because that one took 13 years. See, she did not understand that there was a whole lot of hard work, a whole lot of things I had to go through, a whole lot of times that I had to get up and work when nobody was looking, that I had to prepare for things when I didn't have anybody to help me. But it wasn't about anybody else. It was all about myself and working hard. Did you not know, as men and women, we have the power to create our reality? The bottom line is, how much work are you willing to put in it? I found out something about outworking everyone else. I didn't have as much time to hang out with my friends, or so-called friends. I didn't have time to go to different places because I was too busy working hard on my career. And you got to understand that hard work is what it's going to take. Now, I've talked about hard work. I've talked about how that you've got to be prepared. And every day I run into people who want the glory, but they don't want to put in the work. Even in the ministry, people can experience Jesus today. The next day they want to be called to minister. The next day they want to have a worldwide ministry. The next day they want to have riches and abundance. And they want to have it all wrapped up in a week because they don't want to work hard. And when you talk about the things they have to do, the work that they have to put in, the time that it takes in order to progress in this, they do not want to work hard. So let's start out. What is the first principle of working hard? First of all, a person must have self-discipline. Now, what is self-discipline? That means as an individual, you got to have a standard for yourself. Most people have never set a standard for themselves, and therefore they never reach a standard. It's like when you're working out. There's one form of exercise you can do to just be physically fit. Then you got other people that perhaps they want muscles. They want to be able to lift heavier things. Well, that means they're going to have to lift heavier weights. They're going to have to put more time in the gym. They're going to have to continue to have a standard about themselves. They've got to have a level of expectation in their own mind. And the reason you have to have that, because you're going to keep working when nobody is looking. When you got a standard about yourself, you don't need nobody to pat you on the back. You don't need nobody to call you to get you out of bed. You don't need nobody to consistently every day tell you what you ought to do. When you got a standard about yourself, you understand that if I'm going to be successful, I got to be willing to put in the hard work. I remember one time I was talking to one of my mentors. At that particular time, I was much younger, and he was telling me how that I was talking about, I said, I got to make sure I set my alarm clock so I can wake up in time. And he began to tell me, well, I don't need an alarm clock to wake me up. And then immediately I thought, now he's not really telling the truth. But he went on to explain to it. He said, when you got a discipline about yourself, your body already know that you can't afford to stay there in the bed and sleep. It just automatically wakes you up and you go on about your day. Don't want you to go anywhere. I'm going to be right back to talk to you.
Tap somebody and say, I'm made for miracles. You know why God allowed things to happen to you? He want to teach you that there are about 5 people got it. He want to teach you that there are. So whatever the devil knock you back with, God said now's the time to show you that he can't keep me there. Y'all ain't talking. Now is the time to let the devil know. Great is he that is in me than he that is in the world.
Left off talking about how you got to have a standard for yourself. How many of you that are watching me during this time have ever developed a standard for yourself? I've always strived to have a standard for myself, meaning that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it with excellence. Now, what does excellence mean? That means I'm going to put everything that I got into it, and I want to leave it saying, I can't do any more. I did my best. That's the sum total of excellence. Because nobody ever reaches a conclusion in excellence. Because just because you have one level of excellence, there's a whole nother level of excellence you have to go. The more success you have, the harder you have to work. The more challenges you have. So you have to have a standard about yourself that you just do things a certain way. Of course, you got to have discipline about yourself, meaning that discipline comes when nobody have to encourage you to do it. You do it because you know it's necessary to achieve your task. I don't need anybody to take my place. I am working on myself. I got a certain level of discipline because I understand if I want to exceed to the highest level, people that don't have a standard about themselves, don't have discipline about themselves, not willing to work hard, you will never achieve those goals. So you got to have a discipline about yourself. Discipline keeps me. It allows me to understand certain places I can't go. Certain things I can't do, not necessarily because they're bad things, but I understand my standard and discipline will not allow me to do that if I expect to succeed in the dream, in the vision, in the business, or whatever my endeavor may be in life. That's why they call it hard work. So you got to have a discipline about yourself. Then let me just share this last little piece with you concerning this is, understand, it ain't about who's jealous of you. It's not about somebody else. It is all about you. You don't need to involve yourself with what other people think or how they're going to perceive you. You just got to continue to work hard and put in the work. You got to have a standard about yourself. You got to have a discipline about yourself. And above all, you cannot achieve greatness or success concerned about what everybody else thinks. Usually the people that are thinking and saying all of those things, they're not working. They don't have a standard about themselves. They become jealous of you because they're not willing to work for it themselves. So they feel like if they can talk you out of what's working for you, then they succeeded. But when you got these things in place, you continue to work on yourself. I remember early in the ministry, when it was just a dream, I remember a guy asked me one time, he said, well, what type of ministry or preacher you going to be? I said, well, all I understand is I'm just going to be the best me I can be. Because one thing I realized, that nobody could beat me being me. I would fail every time trying to imitate somebody else. But if I put in the work and I did things with excellence and I had discipline about myself, I had a standard about myself, and I stayed focused, then I believed that what I was doing was going to work. Why was it going to work? Because I understood that I had to outwork them, because there are other people got the same desire and the same goal. So what was going to make me different from them? But I understood that these principles had to be practiced. So I want to encourage you in this great and wonderful year that we are in, with the abundance of opportunities that you can explore. You need to make up in your mind those gifts, those talents that you have. You're going to put in the work. You're going to have the necessary discipline to be the best you can be. And I can assure you that you're going to reap things that you never thought you would have. You're going to appreciate all of the time you sacrificed. You kept going. You pushed yourself. You did it one more time. When everybody else was going to quit, you said, I'm going to do it one more time. And as a result of you doing it one more time, it made you exceptional. That's what coaching is all about. When someone coaches you, they don't coach you at the things you do well. They coach you at the things that are going to make you uncomfortable, because you will never get better unless you're willing to put the work in those things that make you uncomfortable. And I certainly thank God for it. Imagine all of the work, all of the time, all of the things it took for man to first go to the moon. They didn't just wake up one morning and say, I think we'll go to the moon. A whole lot of people had to put a whole lot of hours in, had to do a whole lot of things at a high level in order for man to go to the moon. And then even the astronauts themselves had to go through a whole lot of training to be above a whole lot of other people that wanted to be the first astronaut. They had to lift themselves above the crowd in order to be one of the guys that will eventually land on the moon. What are you willing to do today? Are you willing to put the work in? Are you willing to strive for excellence? Are you willing to have discipline about yourself? And are you willing to have that single focus where you can tune everybody out that's trying to keep you from getting your goal? I learned this, that most of the people that are talking are not putting in the work that you are. Because chances are, if somebody is working as hard as you, they ain't got no time to talk. They ain't got no time to say anything. They're putting in the work. For every dream and every vision to come to pass, every successful business, I cannot begin to tell you how hard the work is. Yes, it's hard, it's difficult, it's tiresome. There are things you have to go through that you didn't see coming. Yes, there are up and down days. There are days when you're almost there and look like everything blow up in your face and you have to start over again. But if you don't have that hard work attitude, when something goes wrong, you'll give up. But hard work will say to you, you've got to persevere. You've got to keep going. Because whatever you're striving toward is much better than where you are. You owe it to yourself to put the hard work in, to pursue that dream, to trust God, and God will help you accomplish great things. Now, I certainly want to encourage you that if you have not been working hard, or you have not been putting these principles in place that I was talking about, then I want you to write them down and make sure you establish a goal for yourself. These are the things I'm going to do. No matter if you put the work in. You want to make, to students, if you want to make all A's in school, well, you got to put some work in. You can't just pick up a book the night before the test and expect to make the very best score. You got to be willing to put the work in. Whatever you endeavor to do, you got to put the work in, because it takes hard work. And I would love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts on this particular subject. Love to hear your story as to how you're going to begin working hard to get yourself together. There's no way around it. Hard work is going to be involved. I remember my father told me, I was telling him that I want to make a whole lot of money. And he said, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. Are you prepared to do a whole lot of work? Now, I wasn't expecting the other thing to come. I just felt like, well, I could just create some money by doing the little simple things. But the lesson he was trying to get over to me, if you want to go there, it's not that you cannot go, but you got to be prepared to put the work in. Even the Bible says, faith without works is dead. You can't even have any faith if you ain't got any works, because it's dead. And I like to say this, success without work is dead also, but you got to be willing to put the work in. Now, I'll be right back to talk to you, so I don't want you to go anywhere.
Without commitment, you'll never start, but more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. Keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8.
Welcome back. Certainly, I thank you for the opportunity of sharing action coaching with me on today. Certainly, I want you to let your friends know so they can join us each and every week and experience these coaching tips, and they too will be blessed. If you're watching me on YouTube, hit subscribe. Facebook, hit like. We want to enlarge our audience so that an abundance of people can experience action coaching. If it's been a blessing to you, surely it will be a blessing to them. So I want to encourage you to help me out on that aspect. And also, I want to challenge you on today. It is your financial support that makes action coaching possible. And I want you to sit down and sow a generous seed for the support of Action Coaching. There's a link in my bio that will give you a host of ways in which you can support Action Coaching. No gift is too large or too small. We receive all gifts because we use it to help more and more people experience these coaching sessions. So I'm believing God that you're going to support us and help us to continue to expand. And I'm going to continue to pray that God continue to bless and prosper you as you sow into His kingdom. Thank you for your support of Action Coaching. Thank you for continuing to encourage me to go ahead, because I believe in you just like you believe in me. Well, I got to go now, but as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.